motivates your characters very similar to kind of what motivates my character in my movie almost. In your instance, it seems like misguided love. You're trying to protect him in kind of the worst possible way by breaking every law possible, and I'm trying to protect this woman from kind of my own family and doing the right thing, and you know, she's deteriorating in this room, and her health isn't getting better, and my character's in this awkward position of what's the right thing to do. What do you think is the motivating factor for? Is it Connie? Your character's called Connie. What do you think motivates him? Like, what's the thing that drives him?
I mean, I think he's kind of insane. I mean, it's kind of like, but I mean, it's that. I think it's. I always liked this idea that he's justifying every single action by saying it's because I love my brother. Right. But it's like, man, you don't know what love is at all. Right. Like, you just think by you. It's always just a completely narcissistic one-way street. Like, so, and I think a lot of people use that argument, saying, I'm doing it out of love for my family. It's like, no, you're doing it out of love for yourself and your own personal needs. Right. It's nothing to do with your family. Right. Your family half the time do not want this type of love that you're giving them.
But you did love him. I mean, I really felt the protection.
He does, but it's like, I think love in itself is kind of, you can't just love someone regardless of their reaction. If you just keep spraying love all over them, like it's kind of, it's sort of weirdly toxic. I mean, it's. I think also, I mean, in the backstory of me and my brothers, and our backstory.
yes. No, we have all the time in the world.
We're supposed to be estranged as well. I mean, we haven't seen each other. I mean, it's kind of Connie's this guy who's sort of been kicked out of home at like 12 and hasn't really had any kind of interaction with him. Because also, it's like when you have a brother who's like, he's a difficult person, and Connie is just refusing to say that there's anything wrong with him and needs any other treatment other than him. Like, it's, he's just willfully blinding himself to the reality. I think that, I mean, it's funny because it does seem like the movie is designed to show that like he's saving his brother, but it's not. It's literally he's endangering him. He's endangering him, and he's literally like he's making him into this kind of. He's objectifying him at the same time. He's kind of saying like, I want this pure person who doesn't seem to know anything and doesn't feel the same as everyone else. Like when they're doing the bank robbery at the beginning, he's saying, what are you thinking about? And Nick's like, nothing. And like, just Connie acts just like, it makes him feel like you're in an alternate, because I think Connie feels he's sort of in an alternate reality, and Nick is the proof. So it's like, yes, nothing means anything. And because like Nick's reaction to everything, it just doesn't mean anything. You can act totally without consequences, and Nick is the proof. I think anyway.
Yeah. Please just give me 5 minutes. These pants are gonna die all over. You gotta get the pants off. I like big pants. I don't care if you like one. I gotta get them off right now. Get the sweatpants underneath. That's why you wore them. Hurry up. Lace them up. Look for ink.
You started out the gate with a huge movie, but then almost immediately decided. Sorry, I'm asking a slightly different question to that.
Fair enough.
But it's kind of the same thing.
Okay.
But then almost immediately transitioned into doing kind of very, very. I mean, I think I think it's an absolute masterpiece, and I've seen it a billion times.
Thank you very much.
But then to go immediately into like really cool movies, and you're like a little boy. How did you know? Did you know?
I was totally clueless. Genuinely, I mean, it was everyone that I surrounded myself with, and I think what I'm so fortunate for and so grateful for in so many ways is my team. I mean, I've had the same manager for 17 years. Same agent for 17 years, and they clearly knew more than I did. I mean, I didn't know after I made, Billy Elliot that I would really have anything else to do after that. I didn't know what my life was going to be like. I certainly loved acting and certainly loved, the process of making films. I just loved the alchemy of it, of coming together and making something, and you have something at the end of it. I love that. But that certainly didn't entitle me to anything. So I really relied on other people who knew more stuff than I did, you know.
And did you have your agent before Billy Elliot? Or was that
No.
afterwards?
I was like literally paired with these people. I think people who had kind of helped me get to where I was had suggested you should go with this person or meet with that person, but I had no idea, you know. So I was then educated. I was told to like, you should watch this movie, Malick movies, blah, 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 whatever.
When you were like 14?
Yes, and very shortly I was working with people like, you know, David Gordon Green, and you know, because George Washington, I watched that very early on in that time, and Feston, the Dogma film by Thomas Vinterberg. Yeah,
and you were really into it just off the bat? Right?
I just had never, I mean, I was just becoming kind of overloaded with movies and the experience of them, and also how they can be so different, and the telling of them, and the stories that they're kind of focused on can be so different, and very small sometimes, and very intimate. And you know, I watched Lars von Trier movies, so I ended up working with later on as well, and really kind of got an education as to who these auteurs are, and also figuring it out kind of on the job. I mean, I've never really taken any formal acting study, and maybe it shows sometimes, but like, you really learn on the job, I think. You learn from the people you're working with, the people that you're opposite. And I've been very lucky to have people of that caliber to work with throughout, you know. But I'm always, the thing that I always say to myself is, you know, from that kid and that movie to now, it's just, I don't know how it's happened really. There's no kind of strategy to it. I mean, I'm just gonna pull out my phone because I made a list of the filmmakers that you've worked with recently who are, it's like crazy. Werner Herzog, David Cronenberg, James Gray, Harmony Korine, potentially, who knows? You can edit that out. David Michaud, the Safdie brothers, Claire Denis, potentially Antonio Campos, Brady Corbet. These are like auteur. This is like dreamland. I think for like.
What are you talking? Like literally, like.
No, but this is, you know, it's a similar thing, right? It's like you want to work with people who inspire you and push you further. And it seems like all those people certainly have for you, because you're doing easily your best work. I mean, between City of Z this year, which was great, almost unrecognizable in that. I thought you were great, so small, all the things you're doing, brilliant. And Good Time, you know, these people that you're choosing are really pushing you to discover places you haven't been before.
I think it's interesting about what you're saying about learning on the job. I think the people you worked with when you were young, well, I mean, the people you've always worked with, your list is crazy. I wish I'd prepared.
I just looked at IMDb in the car on the way. That's it.
But I think when you work with sort of auteur kind of directors, when people are so, when they're completely singular in how they're making a movie, and no one is really telling them what to do, they're in general like, much happier about making it, and then you'll learn so much more about someone who's basically making exactly what they want to make, rather than someone who's kind of, you know, could potentially be good but is doing a job for money or something, and then you know, you're not going to learn the right lessons. But I think I'm just fascinated how like that. I mean, the people you're working with at 14 are the people who I'm trying to work with at 31. But I just didn't even know who they were at that time. I mean, I just sort of did vaguely, but I didn't, even when I first started acting, I didn't really even know you could work with like Cronenberg, for instance. I didn't think that was really possible. I thought that they were just films that existed. And that they just, and I would just do like stuff on like Channel 5. I'm not sure, Channel 5. Like I was basically like, my highest ambition was a bit part on Sunset Beach.
Right.
No one even knows what Sunset Beach is.
Classic performance. Another great performance.